most of it anyway. And for the first time, I began to hear stories in year 2003 about people who are hybrids who are living here, who I call hubrids. They do not look like hybrids. They look like humans. They have been bred to look average. They're going to be average size, average weight. They're going to they're not going to have anything distinctive about their faces. They're not going to talk any unusual way. They're just going to be average. The ones who aren't average are culled. They're culled out. They don't make it down to the ground. And people began to describe helping them get along here on Earth. Now, being born and raised on a UFO is wrong. You're not born. What happens is a fetus is inserted into a woman early on. It's probably just a gamete or a zygote or whatever, and then removed at around 9 to 11 weeks or so before they begin to show. They'll miss a period or two, and they think, gosh, well, what's happening to me? But then everything is fine. Then those fetuses are put in jars in large glass containers filled with liquid nutrients, which they float around in, basically. And eventually they're removed. That means that they don't have a birth date. In other words, they don't know how old they are. They don't have birthday parties. They don't know their parents or their siblings, or anything to do with living in a house, or anything to do with driving in a car, or anything to do with watching television, or anything to do with anything human, basically. So when they come down, abductees have been teaching them on board a UFO for years. They've been teaching them what a dog is, and why people have dogs, for example, and what a goat is. These are, I'm using actual examples that I did not put in this book, but I put in a previous book, The Threat, you know, what you use a goat for and things like that. But when they come down, finally, when they're in their, let's just say, late teens, young adult age, when they begin to show up, they don't know anything. No matter how much has been taught to them, there are millions of things, literally, that babies and small children and kids absorb just through observation by living here as humans, that they don't know. For example, they have to, when they're young and being taught on board by abductees, they ask questions like, why do you use a plate? What's a plate for? Why do you put food on a plate? This is a question that no human being would ever ask, at least none in Western society. And when they come down after being taught for years and years, and now they're 17 or 18 or 20 years old, they are babes in the woods. They have to be taught how to shop, how to go to a supermarket. They have to be taught what an egg is. They have to be taught what you say when you go up to the cash register, and they're always with an abductee when this happens, and the cash register and the person behind the register says, "Hey, how you doing?" or "How are you?" or something like that. They can't just stand there. They have to reply, "Oh, I'm doing okay, fine, whatever." They have to say something in return that has to be taught to them.
Right.
So it goes on like this in the most astonishing way that it's almost impossible to imagine the level of teaching that goes on and the simplicity of it. I have a lot of transcripts in this book to drive that notion home from a bunch of different people who are doing this. And